dedicated to the memory of our beloved chairman, who lives in our hearts forever, Sri Krishna Jhunjhunwala, the visionary who made it all possible through his guidance, support and generosity of heart and spirit, whose munificence saw the school move to its current premises. We salute him. Faizabad, an ancient city on the banks of the Saryu River in Uttar Pradesh, India. The skyline of Faizabad reflects ancient and medieval monuments. Adding to its glory is the progressive Jingle Bell School, started by Mrs. Manjula Jhunjhunwala for pre-primary and primary classes.
In 1978, my elder son Ved was 2.5 years old. I wanted his education to start in a very joyful environment. So with two of my friends who also had small children, we started this school. The underlying ethos of this school was to give our children a happy place to be in, and the education should be very joyful and fun.
While maintaining a cultural relevance and functioning within the scope of NCERT, the pedagogy is sculpted by amongst the finest thought processes in early childhood education with Jim Jolly, Ruth and Dinesh, its principal architects.
The growth of Jingle Bell School is evolutionary in nature. We visited many schools, some in India, some also abroad. Whatever we gathered from there, we adapted into our curriculum. One thing underlying always was that the curriculum has to be hands-on and practical. We came across the NCERT program through Dr. Sharad Arora, and we then adapted their ECCE program.
ECCE, or Early Child Care and Education Program, focuses on the development needs of children, which are physical, social and emotional, cognitive and language.
Fast, jump.
These domains are interrelated, and growth in one domain affects growth in another. So, the curriculum in JBS does not focus merely on academic subjects, but on all-round development of children. This is reflected in the architecture itself, where the building serves as a learning aid or bala, a concept propounded by architect Kabir Vajpayee of Vinyas.
Building offers several multiple sensory experiences to the children. When they are moving on the floor of a corridor, they are interacting in so many ways. For instance, on the footsteps, it helps them to foster eye and foot coordination, muscle development, as well as estimation of distance in a very playful, subtle manner. Children love windows and adults want them safe. But window grills are like cages for children. Why not design them in a manner that it becomes a meaningful play activity for them? So you could have window grills which allow the children to develop their fine and gross motor skills by moving these with their hands. It can become a fraction aid or an aid for counting, so that they are engaged meaningfully with fun and learning.
The design has been used here to foster overall development of children in all domains in non-classroom spaces as well. The corridor expands here to provide multiple opportunities of engagement to children. There is a splash pool because children love to play with water. There are tracing tile where the eye-hand coordination of children can be fostered in a very playful way. There are low height seats which help in creation of dialogue between children. There are floor-based activities which foster shape and color cognition in nursery school kids. So the design is used for the development of social capital as well.
This is a cycle dynamo wall where they are generating electricity out of a cycle dynamo and seeing the demystified sounds themselves. That entire terrace space has been subdivided into smaller settings to play Ludo, chess, hopscotch. Children are engaged in teacher-directed or self-directed activities throughout the day. Courtyard could have all kinds of textures made out of different natural materials. Children can sense them as they are moving around, feel them, and make sensory discretion about different materials and textures.
The uniqueness of the curriculum of our school is that it is totally based on the principles of developmentally appropriate practices, where we work with each child according to the age.
What is the date today?
Ma'am, today is
The day at Jingle Bell School is structured through formal teacher-directed and informal play activities.
Will be the day tomorrow.
Ma'am, tomorrow will be
Tuesday.
In circle time, abstract concepts like passage of time, yesterday, today, and tomorrow are understood.
Now we are going to do poems. So please come, stand up and form the circle.
The teacher builds relationships with children, engages their attention, thus improving concentration. Language development is fostered through storytelling, poems, and board writing.
Very good.
Bye-bye circle at the end of the day helps children build memory as they take the school to home.
Circle time is designed to make our children comfortable and emotionally safe, as effective learning can take place when there is emotional well-being.
We have one more strong belief in active learning through the first-hand experiences where children direct their own development.
We are following the principle that children learn through first-hand experiences. And it's proven time and again all over the world that no child can learn anything without having first-hand experience.
Play is the way that children naturally direct their own learning, physical, social, cognitive, and language, and also character development. This has led to the unique classroom design with learning centers.
So there are lots of these qualities which we admire. So if we want these qualities, does this is covered in the textbooks? No. So how will it come? It will come through learning center where 7 qualities, we call it under the name 7 C's: curiosity, cooperation, care and concern, competence, cognitive, communication, creativity.
Classes from nursery to upper KG have different learning centers in them: fantasy, manipulative, library, and cutting pasting. In the messy area, block making, painting, and clay modeling are done. Every day, 30 to 40 minutes are designated for spending informal time in the learning centers in groups of 4 to 5. All the centers are covered in a week. In the fantasy area, little mummies, daddies, and teachers emerge as children pretend play and subconsciously take on various social roles.
हेलो मम्मी कल बर्थडे पार्टी है कल आना है ठीक है हम ऑफिस जाना है ठीक है
That way they understand each other's feeling, emotions are developed, communication is developed, discussions are done, conflict management is done, So these kind of things, and then they do a lot of thinking how to organize the house, where to have the children go. So almost like what adults are doing.
The block making area promotes development of gross motor skills that are responsible for balance, coordination and movement, and fine motor skills that are responsible for coordination and flexibility of small muscles. As children give life to their mental pictures, reasoning and problem-solving skills increase. So do language and emotional skills as they communicate and collaborate to make complicated structures. Blocks, painting and clay modeling in the messy area inspire young children to be creative. Creativity is nurtured because it allows us to think differently and can be applied to solving problems innovatively.
That is something that is what a child is like, and child loves to really mess up, to work with clay, to work with paint, to just get dirty and to mess up the whole place. But then space was provided for that, which no school provides for, and no school encourages even, and it is such a natural inclination of the child.
The relaxed environment of the library area with cushions and mattresses and a variety of age-appropriate books fosters a desire to read in children. As they play together with puzzles and games in the manipulative area, children learn to cooperate while developing an early understanding of academic concepts.
We teachers observe them very minutely and intervene only when the child is getting stuck. This process of autonomy or freedom within the limitations allow the child to become more disciplined.
A focus on making education relevant to the real world forms the DNA of the school. Montessori children eagerly do the same things that they see adults doing at home through exercises in practical life or EPL like rolling, crushing and pounding. These exercises improve their thinking and fine motor skills.
There is a National Curriculum Framework 2005 which talks about a constructivist approach and a child-centered approach, and talks about the whole process of education being meaningful for children, contextualized for children. I think the Jingle Bells curriculum has really made an attempt to make that into a reality, which today is very rare. So most of the schools are following into a kind of a rut. So it's a very, very innovative, I would say. It should be the norm.
The project approach allows children to construct knowledge of the real world through observation and inquiry. This is the field trip for the Milk Project. A project also indulges other activities like cooking, nature walks and gardening. Thus, it integrates academic subjects like maths, language and EVS with enjoyable and familiar life skills. In the project approach, the topic is introduced by the teacher in the classroom. Observations are made by the children during the field trip, followed by reflections in the classroom. Each project culminates in parents' visit to the class where the learnings made during the project are shared.
During the field trip, the children investigate the topic, while after the trip, they reflect on it. We start the discussion about the trip and write children's observations on the board. This helps in assimilating the observations as well as peer learning, as children learn from each other's observations. In the pre-primary classes, children draw their observations, while in primary classes, they may also make related models in the construction and in science areas.
Making models of the projects, linking diverse resources and ideas reflects their thinking and conceptual understanding. Specifically for classes 1, 2 and 3, the construction area allows children to link materials, while the science area enables them to play and combine the supposedly junk material creatively and with ingenuity into something new. Cooking, familiar to all children, serves as a springboard for learning in Jingle Bell School.
Now we are going to make today paneer laddu. Measure the milk with the measuring can.
The milk from field trip is converted into paneer. Abstract mathematical concepts like grams, millimeters, used for measurement are understood with meal planning for more or fewer guests. Multiplication and division become real. Mixing, kneading and other actions encourage motor skill development. Moreover, children learn through their senses as they explore myriad textures and tastes.
Tasty, wow. What is the green dot on the packet mean? Next one.
Real-life experiences are used to make children understand mathematical concepts, developing a positive disposition in children towards maths. Wrappers relate learning to the real world. Each wrapper has a card with questions on it that are age-appropriate. Weight and related word problems are also introduced through these wrappers in the high classes. The building also aids in learning maths. Opening of the doors to angles makes geometry real.
These stickers have numbers written on them. And when class 1 children are taught number operations, like suppose 5 plus 4, then for addition they always have to go up. And this kinesthetics help them remember that addition means going forward and subtraction means going backward.
The shop area, a learning center in the primary classes only, brings market dynamics into the classroom. Children buy and sell various goods, calculate and make bills.
Give me 99 rupees. Take this 100 rupees. Take 1 rupee back. Okay, thank you.
One of the definition of mathematics is the study of pattern. So realizing this, we bring lots of activities where children are busy making patterns and seeing patterns.
Take one more button and keep it on the number which is 1 more than 36. Have you got any pattern?
Yes.
Which pattern?
Vertical.
Vertical line. Take out 7 and 6.
Every math skill includes sequencing, grouping and patterning. Early math skills lead to development of later math skills like tables and multiplication. Moreover, patterns are present everywhere in nature.
So when we go for nature walk, then they see the pattern of the bark of a tree. They see pattern of leaf. All leaf of this tree are same. Some are small, some are bigger. So their observation power is increased with regards to patterns.
Nature walks once a week also introduce children to the rich biodiversity and interconnectedness in the world around us. This instills a sense of wonder for the planet and a desire to conserve it.
And plants get food and water through veins.
The very basis of sustainability. Rainwater from the terrace and elsewhere is harvested for reuse. The school is a zero garbage zone. Children throw paper in red bins and polythene in blue bins, which are sold to vendors for recycling. Food scraps go into the green bin for composting and reused in the gardens.
In 1994, we met Dinesh and Ruth Rastogi and Jimmy Jolly. This trio introduced us to the whole language curriculum, which was age appropriate and practical and relevant for the development of the children.
And what are these?
Whole language focuses on encouraging children to recognize words as whole pieces of language without breaking down into individual letters.
Now can I make cow? Okay.
The children remember cow as a whole word with its image, not as C, O and W. Print-rich classrooms through labels on objects visually imprint or fix the whole word in the child's mind.
Language is learned by hearing. Every child speaks. All of us have learned to speak without getting any formal lesson of that language. If I am born in a Bengali family, I will speak Bengali, Bangla. If I am born in Punjabi family, I will speak. How? Because That kind of exposure has been given.
Now, I'm going to tell you the story about small piglet.
This natural process of language development is followed at Jingle Bell School when the teacher reads out and matches pictures to words. The children understand that reading has a meaning. They try pretend reading when they are younger, that is, making their own stories to the pictures. As they grow, they actually start reading.
Can I write for you? Yes, Shekhar ma'am.
In the pre-primary classes, the teacher takes child's dictation, or children dictate their expressions to the teacher. Thus, children understand that there is a linkage between verbal and written expressions.
मैं जा रहा है.
By writing it on the board, children also sees the connectivity of oral language with the written one. Children may also draw or write their feelings or observations using invented spellings.
Invented spellings are those that are spelled by the sound and are allowed so that children have a positive self-esteem about their evolving abilities. By pretend writing, the children write their expressions through drawings and in their own language. Then they read it back to themselves so they understand the meaning of their writing. Children are encouraged to write on online paper and the building itself, as there are no boundaries limiting them.
Children like to scribble. It's a very natural behavior. Why not give them ruled lines or grid boards on the floor on which they can write, they can scribble their thoughts.
Every child is an individual and the powerhouse of some skills. We draw out the innate parts of the child to fulfill their potential. We do not compare the performance of the children, nor do we assess them on marks, because we think that the children are developing according to the natural pace. What is this?
Sensitivity in teachers is the key to translating this child-centric curriculum in the classroom. To get her to that level, each teacher undergoes a 9-month gestation in the in-house nursery teacher training program.
When they are getting the jobs over here, a regular in-service training is done to ensure that the curriculum transaction is done in the spirit that it was envisaged with.
It was envisaged for joyful learning. This can be personified by the Jolly Playground, built by the late James Jolly.
Jolly was totally devoted towards play and learning. He used to say that play and learning are not two different things, they are exactly the same. So he has created playgrounds all over the world. He had always considered that learning does not take place to pieces. It's a continuum process. So his playground, the unique feature is that all various elements of the playground, they are interconnected. He always believed that children like to take challenges. So he has simple elements in the playground as well as challenging. So, and then it's all child chosen, child directed and teacher facilitated.
Loose material like sand and water in the playground encourage children to be creative. Thus, the aim of JBS is to
provide joyful education to children so that they become creative, they become innovative, they are responsible citizens, they are sensitive towards the world, and they have this ability and competency to make a better world.
The school thus serves as the hallowed ground where children's potential for development is seeded and nurtured.